Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org. Underwriting for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield, serving the youth of the Whip City and surrounding communities since 1969. For more information on the Great Futures Club for ages 3 to 5, happening weekdays, and the Club Teen Center for ages 11 and older, weekdays from 6:30 till 8 p.m., go online at bcgwestfield.org or visit the club at 28 West Silver Street. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Westfield. Great futures start here.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
play the music. It's time to light the light. It's time to meet the Muppets on the Muppet Show tonight.
What's that from?
It's time to put on makeup.
It's time to dress up right.
It's time to raise the curtain on the Muppet Show tonight. Why do we always come here?
I guess we'll never know.
It's like some kind of torture to have to watch the show. But now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started?
It's time to get things started
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, motivational. This is what we call a Muppet Show.
I told you last week that I'd bring that this week.
You could remember the show last week, but you forgot Bob on Friday.
I didn't forget Bob on Friday. I operate everything in 4 quadrants.
Okay.
Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, and Quadrant 4.
Okay.
1 is immediate. 2 is I need to do this really soon. 3 is I need to start thinking about it. And 4 is it doesn't affect me right now. It can wait.
So where was...
Bob was in Quadrant 4.
Oh, my.
And I feel like I'm out in Quadrant 4 with the look on this. How did that happen?
Because you cut your head off and I had to zoom it out a little bit. I didn't have time to run in there.
Oh, okay.
I'd rather have it zoomed out too far than they have your head cut off.
Yeah, every time I aim that without a subject here, I'm taking a guess.
Have Bob sit down for a second. He's vaccinated.
Tell him Bob to sit is like trying to walk a cat.
Oh, man. All right.
I would sort of
Already,
agree with you
Bob,
there, but
already.
No.
All right, so at some point that needs to be corrected because it's freaking the heck out of me. Oh, boy. You know what, Pete?
what is going on, Ken?
There we go.
We have heard fake news for over 5 years now.
Yes.
Bob, don't.
Let him finish.
Yeah.
And Bob's going to hate.
No. I'll try to do better. I'll try to be better.
He's going to hate therapy today.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
We have heard accusations of large platforms shutting down speech they don't agree with. Mm-hmm. Yes, these web services and social media platforms are private companies. Yes, the First Amendment does not cover them. Yes, I am talking about freedom of speech. You are not protected by the First Amendment on a website or a social media website, or for that matter, even inside a mall or shops in that mall. If you actually read the Constitution, the First Amendment only prohibits government from denying anyone the right of freedom of speech. However, with the two-party system we currently have, it can certainly be difficult to express your speech towards or about the actual government. Once, during one of my past broadcasts at a different broadcasting facility, I was written up for reading off a list of a bunch of current, at that time, Democratic politicians that were accused of sexual misbehavior. It was the same information you could see on the news, or read in the paper, or hear on Rush Limbaugh or Howie Carr. The difference, in my case, is that the management of that broadcast facility had different political views than that of the producers of some of the news networks or syndicated radio programs. I still wear that write-up as a badge of honor.
You would.
It's true.
Many coworkers and people in management heard the replay and thought I did not do anything wrong. But the important people were butthurt, so I had to bend over and take my punishment. Having said this, many of us have seen cases where posts go missing, or people are banned or put in jail just for what they say, and I'm talking about social media jail, not the pokey. Sometimes the posts are so foul, though, or threatening that I understand why such, actions take place, right? At the end of 45's term, We saw how multiple platforms banned him for life. We also saw a complete platform get shut off by its web hosting company. I am, for the most part, libertarian, and I often read views and articles from both the right and the left so I can make my own mind up. But then, as many of us have seen, if you say something against the agenda of the left and you are caught, you get zucked.
I like that term.
I want to read everything. I wonder if that will be one of the new definitions in the dictionary this year, getting zucked. I just went through all that to get to this point. I was shocked, but not surprised by something that happened to me this past week. I was using Messenger to have a private conversation with one other party. We were discussing some political issues. And in the past, I've been able to share a URL in Messenger without an issue. I tried to put in a URL that the current establishment does not want anyone to see. It was not malicious. There was no bad code. It did not go through. I tried it again, and a red exclamation point popped up next to it. I went to a browser and was able to type it in and go there. I took a screenshot of my chat window and shared it with my friend. At that instant, they understood that censoring speech is a real thing. They were speechless. Now, I would expect this on a public platform where people en masse can see. This was in a private conversation. I will pause for a second to let that sink in. A private conversation, as in a private text between two people, was censored. You could tell I got pissed. When Orange Man shut down Backpage and Craigslist for meetups, he did that to stop human trafficking. But to suppress political views, right or wrong, or right or left, or something that you just don't agree about, smacks of communism. And the right or wrong viewpoints can flip-flop. Orange Man had kids in cages at the border. Under Biden, those same cages are called reception centers. Last I looked at the pictures, they still look like cages Obama built. Let's just hope we get this censoring BS under control and allow freedom of the press and bloggers and alt news networks and the like before it's too late. The last thing we need is to get all of our news from one source, like Pravda. Do you know what Pravda translates out to?
Truth.
Truth. Let's pay our bills. We'll be back right after this.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
Join me, Tina Gorman, each week from 6 to 8 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday, when my guests and I discuss health, wellness, and lifestyle reimagined.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Oh, let's see. We have to wait.
That's because he didn't cue up his sound effect because he was too busy running around the studio yelling at people.
Well, he's excited.
Are you calmed down
morning.
yet?
He's excited this morning.
I don't blame him. I was excited this morning, too.
Nice to know there's excitement in the world.
Nice to know I still have a pulse. That may not last forever, but you know.
We all care about the environment, some more than others, especially those of us on the West Coast. But places thousands of miles away have water that is our birthright. We're San Andreas Water and Power. Without our tireless efforts to keep the water and subsidies flowing, San Andreas could dry up like a woman in her 50s. No green lawns, no swimming pools, no lush golf courses in the desert. Sure, you may have to pay the piper sometime, but let's all work together to make sure it's not just yet. San Andreas Water and Power.
That's a good one.
There's more where that one came from.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good to know.
I've got way too many slides to go through here now. Today is the 30th day of March in the year 2021, Anno Domini. This is the Den. Ken Stomsky behind the microphone. Behind the glass.
No. It's the Westfield Community Programming COVID-19 broadcast window. Get it right.
Walking through the studio right now as he passes by said window. Peter Cole's getting to the keys. For the last time this year, the March Master of Modulation.
Good.
And Bob Platt.
And then there's Bob Plass.
And then there's Bob. And then there's Bob.
Yeah, then came Bob.
And then came Bob.
I'm going to rewrite that. I'll have something for you next week.
All right. Oh, my God. Hi.
You know what song I'm talking about, right?
And then came Maude.
And then came who?
The theme from Maude.
Then came Maude is that song.
It's not striking any chords.
Yeah, it's the theme from Maude, but I don't win.
He's trying to find his one.
There, here it is.
Joan of Arc with the Lord to guide her. She was a sister who really cooked. Isadora was the first bra burner. Ain't you glad she showed up? Oh, yeah. And when the country was falling apart, Betsy Ross got it all sewed up.
And then there's Bob.
And then there's Maude.
And then there's Bob.
Oh, stop it.
And then there's Bob.
And then there's Maude.
And you keep looking to me for help. I can't help you, Bob. I can't.
Man.
I am not in control of this man.
It's so lucky you got that version and not this one.
Oh, look, it's one of those early Maude episodes with a really long opening credit sequence.
Oh, no. What is this?
Lady Godiva was a freedom rider. She didn't care if the whole world
What is this? It's Seth MacFarlane.
with the Lord to guide her. She was a sister who really cooked. Madame Curie was a strong woman character.
Oh, but get on with this.
In a science lab, yeah. Clara Martin was a famous nurse who was rapping with the soldiers and bandages too. Susan B.
Holy.
Always on doing
Wait,
stuff. Marching around and holding up signs.
And then there's Maud.
What
the hell?
Going on. An Indian guy with lots of Indian pride.
Holy mother.
That isn't easy, even if you're a guy.
And then there's Maud.
Babe Zahari was a
Come
really
on.
good athlete, good at track and field and professional golf too.
And then there's Maud.
Amelia Earhart flew a lot of airplanes, except for that one time when she didn't come back.
That's for sure.
Oh, stop it!
Maud, come on.
Stop it! This is
Found a
awful.
way to keep herself looking fine.
And then there's Bob.
There we go. That was an ordeal.
That is an ordeal. Oh my God, help me. God, there's Maud.
God has nothing to do with it.
What? Well, oh, Kathleen, I've had a rough morning.
Bob, didn't you sleep again?
Yeah, I did. You want to take this?
No, I am not qualified. Get the door, Bob. Go get the door, please.
All right, here. I'll
Somebody's being
open
very
in the door.
persistent.
Oh, Ken, I am so sorry. I've had a rough morning today. I don't know if I can handle this. I might even cut your fee. You know, $25 bucks. Come in for I'll give you 5 minutes.
Okay. I tell you, I'm all right now, but last week I was in rough shape.
No, tell me. What?
You know, I was gonna hit you up with this.
Yeah, go
all right.
ahead. Yeah.
Why is it okay that kids are in cages now? Several years ago, everyone was up in arms,
cages.
but now it's.
They're-
Why isn't AOC down there, crying next to the fence? So I was gonna start with that, but I said, no, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna. And then I was gonna.
I'm so
then,
glad that
And then I
Biden
was
is
gonna have an
handling this
issue
with Kamala Harris.
and then I was gonna talk to you about an issue I have about it being so nice, and now today it's back to 25.
29 degrees this
It was
morning.
25 over at my place. I'm a little lower than you.
Oh my word!
And then I said to myself,
Yeah, what?
"Self,
Yeah.
no, I have a feeling you're gonna be giving it to Bob all morning. Just continue to grab and grind and poke."
Oh my gosh! Do you think that you kind of view me as a scapegoat?
No.
Could that be it?
No, just easy.
Oh,
You're an easy target, Bob.
It's a mark, Bob. You're a mark.
I'm a mark target.
You have a
Look at that.
tell on your face all the time.
I have a what on my face?
A tell. We
tell.
can read you. Yeah.
A tell.
Oh.
Don't,
Hey, Kenny?
don't play cards.
Look at your monitor.
As you can see here, at the southern border, President Trump keeps, whereas President Biden keeps children safe in migrant facilities.
Jeez, it looks a lot the same to me.
Yes.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah,
Peter.
but
I know.
But the difference is the attention.
the pictures that CBS News put up this past weekend. Yeah. There's kids in cages.
There's an intention.
It's the same
The
thing.
difference.
It's the
Except
same.
now it's worse because
same
there's
thing.
more people coming across.
Same thing.
That's all.
Well, we're not going to argue about
Did you notice?
No, we
did
move
you
on.
notice how somebody puts up a wall to keep people out,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody comes over and takes the wall down to let people in, and then they blame the person for putting up the wall that the people are getting in? Never mind. So
Okay.
that's just too hard. That's too hard a concept.
I
for some
can't.
people
I
to
gotta
get.
see it on paper. I gotta make a chart of that one.
Who's on first?
When I'm down in Texas next month, I'll take pictures for you. Bob.
I know we're going to be really close to the border.
Oh,
Yeah.
do me. Yeah, please. I'd
Yeah.
like to see.
That was
it.
one of our day trips. You do know that, Ken, that we were going to do that, right? We were going to go to the Rio Grande and find some spots because I've been researching that.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do a story on the border.
I would love to have you deliver some donuts
We're not going to Florida, Bob. We're going to Texas. Mojo Donuts is in Florida.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, in Texas, we're close enough to Mexico. We would end up having, and it was just right on the
Mexican street food?
No.
You can actually cross the border if you bring your passport.
I don't have one.
No, well, that's a problem.
Tijuana.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you've got to get that. We were talking about this on my show last week. In order to get a passport now, get in line, get that passport. Just get it. It's simple, and but then you have to wait a long time because
I'm going to renew mine soon and get the card too.
Yeah, well,
you can renew it and get the card as long as you pay the extra money or whatever.
Yeah.
Are you even able to cross over with COVID right now, though?
I don't know if Canada's open back up.
I'm talking about Mexico.
No, I don't think Canada is, and I don't think.
I don't know. We as law-abiding citizens can't get across the border, but everybody else can just walk across the Rio Grande.
Yeah, well, that's
what. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Law-abiding citizen.
So I don't even need a passport because there's no possibility of it right now anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Churros.
I love churros.
That's what I was trying to think of a minute ago.
You get that in Texas.
Hey, Pete, are we going to be in any trouble because you never disclaimered my monologue?
Oh, well, we can do it now. I'm not worried about it.
Oh, no, but I think you ought to, just in case.
Bob was getting ready to wee-wee his pants because of that.
No, I wasn't, but I just worry.
All right, so speaking of worrying,
yeah,
my psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Bob, would you like me to get you another cup of coffee before you listen to this? I could put something in it.
No, you could get some medication from me.
All right, I will medicate
you may have to go to a doctor after hearing
maybe
this.
That cannabis connection is looking good to me.
There may be some medication needed.
Yeah.
I found this article in the paper, and I held on to it just for you.
Uh-oh.
Carcinogen found in hand sanitizers that plugged COVID gap. So this is from Mass Live, March 26th, all right?
Oh, God help.
Some widely available hand sanitizers that American consumers snapped up last year to ward off coronavirus infection contain high levels of a chemical known to cause cancer. A testing firm's analysis found this.
Wow.
Right. An assortment of hand cleaners that flooded into the market after mainstays disappeared from retail outlets contained high levels of benzene. According to Valsier, a New Haven, Connecticut-based online pharmacy that tests products for quality and consistency.
My God.
Benzene causes cancer, according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The World Health Organization's Cancer Research Arm puts it in the highest risk category, on par with asbestos.
Holy God, and they're selling it?
Valsier analyzed 260 bottles from 168 brands and found 17% of the samples contained detectable levels of benzene.
My gosh.
So now go home and look at your hand sanitizer and think about that, Bob.
Yeah, that's old news. They took a lot of those products off.
Well, they're also talking about the one, not with benzene. There was another, it was wood alcohol.
Wood grain, that's the thing I used to drink.
It's not the cleaner, Bob. It's the hand sanitizer.
Yeah. Oh, it's the hand sanitizer.
Yeah, the stuff you rub on your hands. And it's some very obscure labels. And you're right, Ken. They popped up in the stores very quickly from, I'm not sure they were even reputable companies.
So the FDA let it get through?
That stuff that you just had in your hand.
I don't like anything.
I've got syringes. Do you want to inject some of that to see what happens?
I don't want any memory of any orange-haired guy or orange-faced guy. I don't want any memory of it. I can't.
It might wipe out those memories pretty good.
Oh, it might.
Yeah. Wipe out a lot of things.
Now that I think that,
So now you have to go home and check your hand sanitizer.
Man, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Thank you. But still leave your $25 on the way out.
My intent is to come in and throw darts at him and poke, and now he's thanking me for keeping him safe.
Listen. I think that's a nice thing. You know, there are two sides to that we all. Well, there's always a little bit of bad in everybody, and there's always a little bit of good in everyone.
No, I'm not so sure everyone has good.
Yeah,
you never met one of my ex-girlfriends.
Oh, no. I didn't mean that.
Oh,
there's some pretty evil people out there.
No.
Exactly. Never met one of my exes.
Well, I think there are sick people out there. I think there are sick people, mentally sick people, but the average person has always you can find good in the average person, and always you can find something that's a little off.
Using that theory.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Say something good about Orange Man Bad. You said everybody. Say something good about Orange Man Bad.
I said mentally ill people.
I think he loves his children.
No. I'm gonna.
Don't help him out.
Let me clarify this, because
he's great as a walk-in wedding guest.
Many of us are mental illness, have some mental illness, and
he has great hair.
No.
Oh no! I hate his hair.
No. I've got to clarify this because. Anyone with a mental illness, and I have a mental illness. I mean, there's lots of mental illness out there, but there are some mentally sick people that are beyond hope, and that orange-haired man, I think, is beyond hope.
I think in order to make yourself better, you have to recognize that you have faults. And if you don't recognize that and you're sure in your own personality, then there's no need to improve.
Yeah, no, that's true.
You said everyone has some good. Say one good thing about Orange Man Bad. It's your own therapy that you're throwing at me.
All right. He's left the building.
Gotcha. Yep. Good one. Mic drop.
He came. He finally saw the light, and he
came. He saw. He kicked.
He came. He saw.
Disclaimer.
Yeah. No. He came. He saw.
He left.
And he left.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And I wonder. I don't know. I just. I liked some of his suits. I thought he had nice suits.
Yes, he did. Except that red tie. I hate red tie.
Yeah, no. But did he wear them well? I don't know. What's here? Oh my God, he's going for the MAGA hat. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You better save that. That's going to be a collector's item at some point.
I'm going to have it sit right there looking at you.
Oh, God help me. God help us all.
Stabler's back.
Is it time for... Oh, my gosh, I got to get home for Kelly. It's a... Oh, my gosh.
Moving along
I think
now,
I'd
Bob.
rather hear the theme to Maud. I don't know. Hey, would you mind leaving your $25 with the women on the way out? Thank you. I'll see you next week, and I wish you all the best. And let's all try to make America
great again.
You just can't win here, Bob. You just can't.
I can. I love you guys. All right. I'll keep trying. I'll fight the good fight. You guys keep trying to fight your good fight. And somehow or other, good will come out of it, I hope.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, what is it?
You're excused.
Yes. I will call you on I'll remind you on Thursday. He's coming over because of KS Solutions is coming over to my house to help me with my my computer printer. Thank you, my friend.
You're going to install the drivers for him?
So you pay me $25 here, and then we'll reciprocate.
I'll charge. If I get to charge you $50, then.
Oh, you'll have to charge me $50. I'll pay it. You're worth it, baby. Bye.
Bye, Pete.
Just as I thought it was going all right, I found out I'm wrong when I thought I was right. It's always the same, it's just a shame, that's all. I could say day and you'd say night. Tell me it's black when I know that it's white. Always the same, it's just a shame, and that's all. I could leave, but I won't go, though my heart might tell me so. I can't feel a thing from my head down to my toes. But why does it always seem to be me looking at you with you looking at me? It's always the same, it's just a shame, that's all. Turning me on, turning me off, making me feel like I want too much. Living with you's just to putting me through it all of the time. Running around, staying out all night, taking it all straight to take one bite. Living with you's just to putting me through it all of the time. I could leave, but I won't go. Well, it'd be easier, I know. I can't feel a thing from my head down to my toes. But why does it always seem to be me looking at you, you looking at me? It's always the same, it's just a shame, that's all. Truth is, I love you more than I wanted to. There's no point in trying to pretend. There's been no one who makes me feel like you do. Say we'll be together to the end. But I could leave, but I won't go. It'd be easier,
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
Hi, it's Bob Plass, and I have Wow, It's Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6 to 8. Wow, it's Tuesday.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
I did it!
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
The kind of water you drink says a lot about the type of person you are. It's time to take hydration seriously. Flow. Your local water is terrible. It's time to make hydration real. That's why we filtered it, put it in a fancy bottle, and are marketing it using famous actors. It's time to make hydration creative. Are you still drinking tap water? What's wrong with you? It's time to make hydration flow. Drink Flow, infused with oxygen and hydrogen. If you're active or at least want to appear to be, there's only one hydration solution. Flow.
I have to go to the bathroom now.
WCPC 15, 851 on the nose, brought to you by Flow Water.
Hey, Kenny.
These X-fans and
pointy end up, flamey end down, but it's a little foggy.
It's funny because you can use it however you want.
There could be a launch at the top of the hour.
Horribly, that's normal. Things are going fantastic, it's normal. So really, everything normal.
Normal. You said
is
normal.
always going to be checked.
Yes,
especially with Starship. If
nominal.
It blows up, that's normal.
Normal. Hear that? Normal.
I got it.
Somebody
Normal.
screwed up at some point, and now he's made thousands of dollars off of it.
Yeah, normal.
It's normal. Okay, I
pointy
can go
end
with
up,
that.
flamey end down.
New word. New word.
Yeah.
It will blow off the fog though if the thing launches.
At
least locally.
Is he in Boca right now?
Yeah, he's in South Padre. Yeah.
So that's oh no, that's not a static.
It's supposed to be. The static was the other day.
Yeah.
Today's a 10-kilometer. That's why I have it up.
Yeah. We'll have to run it in the corner because I have a rather important guest coming up, and we're not gonna.
Well, we can always play it back later.
Yeah.
But with the fog like this, they're not going to launch.
No. Flow Water, by the way, enhanced with both hydrogen and oxygen.
Yeah. Isn't that its chemical makeup?
Dichlorotrifluoro oxide? No, that's
No.
Dichloro.
H2O is
yes, but
water.
it's hydrogen, oxygen, two molecules of hydrogen.
Dihydrogen peroxide. Dihydrogen.
Dihydrogen oxide, maybe.
Dihydrogen.
It could be dihydrogen oxide, not peroxide.
H2O2 is
that's
hydrogen
totally
peroxide.
different.
Mm-hmm. Dihydrogen
oxide.
We just call it water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There was a show that came out a year ago that was really cool on the Food Network called Tournament of Champions, and I forgot to put it into my
I had Discovery Plus,
my
so I don't
task
have to.
list on my DVR to record the season.
Yep.
And it just started back up, so I missed Season 2, Episode 1, which happened this past week.
Oh, no, it's more than that. This year they had more than 16 chefs because they had so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So they did 2 play-in rounds. They had 4 chefs on each side of the bracket.
Okay.
And they did 2 play-in tournaments, and then they had a third for each side
to
determine the number 8 seed. So they had 4 extra chefs.
Yeah.
On each side, so 8 extra, and they had 2 wild card rounds.
Right.
And the wild card rounds were unbelievable.
But what I'm saying is it just started back up.
Yeah.
So season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I
It's
have
it's like their answer to March Madness.
Yeah.
It's bracket style.
And it's a real interesting show. If you
My
like
God,
some of
those
the shows
people
in
can
it.
cook. What they come up with?
It's so nice to tune into that after watching Hell's Kitchen.
So what the premise is for you, Kathy, you don't know, is they have, these are really top like competition chefs, and they have a thing called the randomizer, and it gives you your protein, a vegetable you have to use, a cooking utensil you have to use, a style. So one of the styles was like brunch, fryer, whatever, a style, and the time limit. And you have to cook your dish within that time limit. And then the chefs leave. They have top food people like Giada De Laurentiis and who'd they have? Rocco DiSpirito come in and blind judge. They don't know who the chef was. They just know the parameters, and then they judge you 100 points, 3 different categories on just your food. And the chefs are on. They're back in their dressing rooms, and they have to watch the judging. And it's they said it's the hardest thing ever, because there's no reputation, there's no context. It's just your food.
Right.
It's a great
Gotcha.
show. I love it.
Gotcha.
I got really into it.
You know, I got hooked on another cooking show, and we should be having this conversation in 2-3 weeks. But you know, the FYI network, well, I always found to be a joke. But they've actually had some decent programming come out recently. And one of them started up almost 2 months ago now, Fast Foodies. And it's 3 people, 3 chefs, and 2 of them are Top Chef winners. And every week they have a celebrity come on.
Oh, I've seen that before.
With,
Is it a
one
new
of
season?
with their favorite fast food. And they have to try to duplicate it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And we've had the Colonel's chicken on it.
Isn't there one round is they do the direct duplication, and then the second round is they come up with their take on that.
Yeah, their take, like a deconstructed thing.
Yeah, or make it a fine dining dish.
Right. And they've done
That's really cool.
They've done the fillet of fish. They did
Big Mac.
Yeah, it's just crazy some of the stuff that they're trying to recreate on the show, which and that's on the FYI network, the same network that runs the car auctions.
The Meekum auctions.
Meekum.
Yeah, I when I'm surfing through and I see that, I can't help but to stop, and next thing I know, I'm into it an hour already, because they go so quick. The auctions on with those cars.
I know, but I look at them and I think, can you imagine having that kind of money that you're spending $200,000 on a vehicle?
I can, but I never will.
Yeah, it blows my mind when I look at the prices.
Yeah,
and they're cars we junked 40 years ago. We towed them away. And got rid of them.
The holy grail are the barn finds. The people that have been sitting in
Yep.
people that didn't junk them.
Yep.
Put them away in storage, and then they come out all dusty, and they get restored and sell for 5 times the price.
Yeah, like the twin Buick Grand Nationals. Yeah, Google that one. Twin Buick Grand Nationals found.
Yeah.
There's a great series on Discovery Plus, where it's the guy that goes find things, Expedition Unknown. And they do a series with Back to the Future and Chris Lloyd, and it is funny as hell. It's like a 5 episode series, and it was great.
All right, I see my next guest coming in, so a little early, but I want to make way for him. So let's do our top of the hour, Pete.
Store, take what you want and more. Shop until you drop. Voodoo consumer never stop. Load up on supplies. No sale, no compromise. Gun crazy down the mall. Voodoo consumer, take it all. Think this, take it. It's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously cool. Let's make it fabulous. 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 Drive me to the bank. Kneel down and give me thanks. Grab your credit card, voodoo consumer, kiss me hard. Eat this, drink this, drive this, charge it, it's fabulous. Step right up and take it, it's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously cool. Let's make it fabulous. Take it all too far. Sell the company car. A bargain come too late. Voodoo consumer terminate. Eat this, drink this, drive this, buy this, wear this, fly this, play this, charge it. It's fabulous. Step right up and take it. It's fabulous. If you can't afford it, fake it. Be deviously dangerous, ridiculously marvelous, meticulously treacherous, deciduously cruel. Just make it fabulous. 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 Fabulous.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
I'm Mark Auerbach. Join me every Friday at 8 a.m. for Arts Beat, where you'll meet interesting actors, directors, designers, and musicians here in Western New England.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Sure, you work at an office. Sure, you do Pilates. Yes, your wife earns more money than you do. But don't let anyone tell you you're not a man. Let them know you're a tool. U-Tool, the do-it-yourself mega hardware store for guys just like you. Real tools. Guys who don't need to hire a plumber or electrician. Guys who do it themselves. Tools. Blue-collar guys aren't geniuses, and neither are you. Demonstrate this to your wife once and for all at U-Tool. Buy a circular saw. Any guy can use one of them. Wiring is for ninnies. Wire like the pros and make your house a safe place you can be proud of. Show that wife who's boss. The guy with a belt full of gear and the house under control. Show your wife who the family tool is. U-Tool, the mega hardware superstore.
Hey, Kenny, apparently we have a launch.
Telemetry. But it is going up, and I confirm it's still running. It is shaking here. The studio is still shaking.
And it's shaking in here because I have a super important guest.
That's why I switched back.
Where? Where? Kathy?
Yes,
It's
yeah.
Kathy. It's Kathy Palmer.
This is WCPC 15 brought to you by U-Tool. be the tool in your family. So every so often, I like to have Superintendent Zaporowski on the program because we have different, viewership. We have different listening demographics.
Absolutely.
A lot of things happening in the next couple of days here in the school system.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump right into it.
So, April 5th, students K to 5 are returning every day.
Yay.
April 5th. And it really works out to about 85%, actually, because the families still have the option to stay remote for the whole year. And actually, there's been a little bit of pushback. So I guess I need to explain this. So the commissioner came out with his ruling that you could either be fully remote or fully in person by certain dates for certain grades. And the first is K to 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so what's basically outlawed, illegal, not allowed, whatever you want to call it, is the hybrid model, which is what we've been doing most of the year, which is you're in a week, you're out a week, you're in a week, you're out a week. So it's either one extreme or the other. The common ground, the middle ground has been eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people were asking me, and I'm just being honest here, that they were saying, well, how come you surveyed the hybrid families if they want to come back? And my answer is because they're in the model that's no longer allowed. So they have to be first choice. And then second choice will open up spots for students or families that have their students fully remote, but want their kids to come back too. I mean, it's still 3 feet. The guidance has been reduced, so we still have some spacing limitations. And when I say that, I'm thinking of some schools in particular. Which one would I be thinking of, Kathy?
Abner
Gibbs.
Yeah,
where the classrooms are about the size of the room that Kathy's in.
Yeah, they're tiny, tiny, tiny rooms.
Mm-hmm. And I still have to keep 3 feet. So, and then April 28th, it's grades 6 through 8. So the high school date hasn't been announced yet. The commissioner is supposed to do that in April. We selected May 3rd to come back, figuring that if you waited any later than that, why bother for the high school kids?
Mm-hmm.
Because the seniors, at this point, they'll have a month in school before they go to the senior week, which is the end of May. And so I think our thought process is if you don't have them in at least for 4 weeks, then, but all of the, and then of course, our last day of school is June 16th this year. So,
that seems early.
It is, but we've only had one snow day, and the other days that we had inclement weather, we declared remote days, which is essentially the blizzard bag.
Mm-hmm.
Really. And so, incidentally, on our last call with the commissioner last week, he did say blizzard bags are back on the table after he decided they were no longer going to be on the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
can we?
I don't have a flip flop sound effect here.
No, Pete. What do you got? Anything?
I used to have a squeak like on a basketball court, but I don't have that anymore.
Oh.
The pivot.
This is definitely a pivot.
Pivot.
To go back. And that's a word I will not miss when this is all over. Out of abundance of caution, I will not miss that particular phrase. Quarantining, I will not miss that phrase. Close contacts, I will not miss that when this is all over. I'm going to make a list of words. What do you mean? You're on mute. Yeah, the things for... I'm muted. You're on mute is another one I won't miss.
What have the newspapers been using for the past year? Unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
Oh, God, I hate that word.
Unprecedented.
I hate that word.
Everything's drama. But, it's just, we want our kids back. I have to be honest. We know that's why we are our hybrid model. It's interesting because I was talking to someone yesterday and they said, Westfield, she said, we work with a lot of districts, and she said that Westfield's model, the week on, week off, seems to be working the best out of all the districts that we work in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy to hear that, and I think that actually provides more, because a lot of other districts, for their hybrid, they were in 2 days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was remote, and then another group came in Thursday, Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Every week. But the week on, week off seemed to work best for us. I was happy to hear that. And, we're also... looking ahead to next year, and I'm totally going off the topic here, but we are actually going to be starting the Westfield Virtual School K to 8. So we were probably the first district to come up with that thought back in January, February. And now other districts are hopping on. But the reason why we're doing that is because we know that there are some kids, I said way back when that this is going to change the face of education forever.
Absolutely.
And
absolutely,
we know there's a percentage of students that are excelling with remote learning. And that's the way they prefer to learn. And rather than have them go out of district to Greenfield Virtual School or Teka Academy, we want to keep them in Westfield. So we're starting K-8. We're going to have options for high school as well, but we're going to be starting our own virtual school. We already have about 200 students interested. So, and that's even before we've publicized it or anything.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So we have a couple of, one in late April, one in early May, a couple of informational sessions for parents. So we're going to be starting a virtual school.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I want to circle back to K through 5.
Yeah.
All right. Now, you said folks have the option of remaining remote.
For the rest of the
Now, is that remote as we know it, or is that you're now homeschooling?
No, remote as we know it. So there are.
How do you do that now? Because originally, the remote teachers were the teachers that would be in the classroom, right?
So for elementary, it works out well because we already have a separate remote school, if you will. We have staff members that are dedicated to teach remotely grades K through 6, actually.
Okay.
So they will be continuing to teach from home as they normally, or are teaching the students at home from school as they normally would. And so that's going to continue. So it's not homeschool or anything like that. It is what we've been doing. To the best of our ability. This is really complicated, too. People have to understand there's staffing concerns and issues and who's in, who's not, and how this all works. This is not an easy feat, and the commissioner hasn't probably made it any easier for us.
Well, folks that do have kids in the school system, they probably already know a lot of this, but for the folks that just don't get the notifications or the phone calls, that's why I have you here.
Right.
Because I hear, okay, we have to be back in school, but you can still do remote if you want. I want to know how that works. Now, something else that just came to my thought process right then and there. How many kids are in a quote-unquote classroom when they are remote? I mean, I've seen Zoom meetings with 4 people. I've seen Zoom meetings with 40 people. I mean, how does that go on?
Most of our kids show up every day and participate. In fact, our attendance percentage so far through March, 2 weeks ago, whatever that was, 2 weeks ago before St. Patrick's Day, but our attendance in the district was 95.07%, which is really good, actually.
Oh.
So we've had good attendance, a lot of participation. It was not like last spring, and I think part of that is because during the remote weeks, I mean, are there students that don't show up? Yes. Are we working on that? Absolutely, every day. And they only want to come to school when they're in person. We have certainly outliers like that, but by and large, I think this spring and this whole school year has been far better than last spring in terms of student participation.
All right.
Has it been the same as any other year? No. I mean, it's definitely different. We're in a pandemic, so it is different.
So, have you actually? I've never seen a virtual classroom. Does it look like a Zoom meeting, or does it?
It's a Zoom meeting. They're on the screen. And what some of our teachers have been able to do too is they've actually, rather than, they have the camera on in the classroom while they're teaching the kids that are in. And so I was in a kindergarten classroom at Highland, actually, where the students were watching what was going on in the class, and they would raise their hand, the teacher would go over and answer their questions, so it was kind of happening simultaneously. Now, it's obviously not the same as being in front of the teacher, but it certainly, like I said, is just a lot better than what we had going on last year.
Sticking with K through 5, specifically Abner, you said there's a space issue there. How are we dealing with that space issue?
So it gives me an opportunity to shout out the Boys and Girls Club and Kelly Brown and Bill Parks and Bo, who were on my show a few weeks ago. So they have agreed to be like a satellite campus for us if needed, and we will staff that so that those students can be there. But as you can probably imagine, parents aren't really jumping up for joy for that. But they also have to realize, Abner Gibbs is only so big, and it's pretty much already at capacity. So to try and get another 50, 75 kids is very difficult. The other thing that people don't realize is difficult, I think, is just lunch. Lunch. We have to feed the students. At lunch, the students still have to be 6 feet apart because you're taking off your mask, as we are 6 feet apart, Ken. Just pointing that out there.
That's the reason why we are both in here. By the way, you notice I'm not masked. Stefan's not masked. I'm following guidelines that the major broadcasters over in Springfield use.
Yeah, I mean, we're 6 feet apart. We don't have to have a mask.
Even though it's inside, in front of a camera broadcasting 6 feet apart, they let you
not wear a mask.
You know, I really should have my mask on. It makes me look better, but I don't sound better, and I already sound
no. When you
bad
have,
as it is.
it's really difficult because you sound muffled.
Exactly.
It's not only the fact that it's muffling you, it's that we pick up a lot of visual cues from someone speaking to
Absolutely.
us. So we don't always know their intent, and sometimes what they're saying doesn't make sense to us because we can't see the
can't read
visual
their face.
cues.
Right.
I think that's a problem in the classroom also.
Agreed. You're absolutely right. I've started to look at people's eyes now. You can tell a little bit about that.
We're noticing how they smile with their eyes.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is the reason I have to put on eye makeup now because people are looking.
Circling back to K through 5.
Well, I wanted to talk about lunch for a second.
Oh, yeah, lunch. We're talking about lunch, yeah.
All of the schools are having an issue. So tomorrow, we have rented a significant number of they're semi-permanent tents for students to be able to eat outside. And that's how we're solving that. Because 6 feet apart at certain schools, like just imagine Westfield High School.
Oh, God, yeah.
You'd have to start eating at 9:30 in the
Yeah.
morning, and you'd be done by 1:30 to do it that way. So we're using 117. For those of you who are a little older, you probably remember that as the detention room at Westfield High School. But it's the study hall or the lecture hall. So we're using that. We're going to use outside space. We're going to use the cafeteria. And students will be able to eat wherever we can fit them at this point. But
And any
still
of the
6 feet.
cafeterias, it would be a problem because even if you're having some of your larger schools already have 3 different lunch periods
Right.
normally.
Right.
So you're going to
High school already had 4.
You're going to cut that down. You're right. I'm thinking the tables we have, I think, seat 6 or 8.
Yep.
But they're right next to each other.
On top of each other.
They're
almost.
across from each other. The tables are not 6 feet wide. What are you doing?
So that's
You'd have to eat at 9 in the morning.
Right. And so people have thought, I've been asked this, so I'm just being, well, why can't they eat in the classroom? Well, the teachers get a lunch too, and we don't have the staff to cover that. We don't. We don't. And the teachers, by the way, deserve a duty-free lunch period.
It's a contract
It's in the
agreement.
contract.
Yeah,
It
but
is.
it's also humane. It's also humane, you know. So tomorrow these tents are going up, and they'll be up at most schools.
God, I'm glad I don't have to deal with that because I hate eating outside.
Oh, I love it.
I hate
eating outside?
Oh, my God.
I
love being outside.
I hate eating outside.
Why?
Well, you eat inside by yourself then.
Why do you hate it?
Bugs, the sun beating down on you.
But you're in a tent.
Even
The
worse.
sun isn't going to be on you.
I tried eating out the other day, but there was high winds and our food started blowing
Oh,
across
yeah,
the patio.
yeah,
So
high winds.
Well,
we had to move inside.
Did you pick a day when there's 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts?
The person I was with wanted to eat outside, so I was like saying to myself, "This isn't a great idea." But yeah, let's go outside.
Yeah, I noticed down here. I work in the studio here from time to time. You're welcome, Pete. And I notice him calling. Okay, this group is lunch. Now this group is lunch. Now this group is lunch.
That's only half the compliment.
Right. This school
And
used
we
to
we
have.
had when I went here, we had 2.
There's still 2 here. There was
Okay.
typically 2.
Mhm.
You had the academic lunch and the shop lunch.
Right.
And now they went up to 4 lunches here to accommodate just half the group, as Pete mentioned. So in theory, Joe would have to go to 8 lunches if he wanted to continue. So that's why he's got to go outside and he's using the gym.
Are you kind of wishing you still had that kitchen on the 3rd floor at the upper campus?
A little
now?
bit, yeah. A little bit.
Tiny kitchen.
It was
And some schools originally didn't even have cafe and lunchrooms.
I know.
And they didn't have kitchens.
Well, and then you have Abner. Go back to Abner, which is half a gymatorium.
That's what I had at Prospect.
Franklin is your cafegimatorium.
too. So when
No, wait, it's just a gymatorium.
no, it's a
No, you're right.
They eat
It is
lunch
a-
there too.
You're right.
Our two
Cafe-
oldest schools, right
Yep,
now. Well,
yep.
besides Fort Meadow, have a cafegimatorium.
So where are the tents going? On the playground or?
It has to go on grass.
Okay.
So we know that, and we got permits because you have to get permits from the city to put a tent up. So we
Oh,
did. We
jeez.
did that.
Tables?
Tables. So we have a vendor on state contract. We're getting more tables
More
from
tables.
and chairs. I mean, it's what. What else can I do?
So do you add more time to the day for to and fro, or do you take time away from the actual lunch period to get back and forth from things like
I
that?
don't know that that's a really big issue.
No, it shouldn't be because the kids have 25 minutes, which really, as you get older,
They're done in 10 minutes.
they're done in 10 minutes anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they tend to go outside. At least when I was here, they would go outside and hang out behind where Auto Body is and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There were picnic tables and chairs. Was that there when you went here? No.
That whole building wasn't here.
there. Yeah. Okay.
However, I will have to say that where the door is on the outside for Tiger's Pride, heading into the hallway.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the end of the building.
Yeah, because that was your cafeteria, wasn't it?
That was our cafetorium.
Cafetorium.
Yeah. And we actually would go outside that door. And remember, folks, this is the late 80s.
Yeah.
We went out there to have our cigarettes.
Right.
And then we'd go back to shop.
Right.
I mean, so that's what we did.
Right.
And I have to tell you, but by the time I waited in line
for food,
by the time you waited in line, then you woof down that food.
It was time to go back.
I barely had time to go out for a smoke and then have to go back down to my shop. And that's why I wonder, how is time going to affect all this?
So I think they've done a little better job getting kids through the lines a little more quickly. As it really, and a matter of fact, it's kids have accounts. They have My School Bucks, and so they just punch in a number and walk away. There's no cash transactions really, not that often, and it just goes to an account. So
yeah, and that naturally we had the 85-year-old lady who took forever to make change when we did cash.
Yeah.
So.
But she could do it in her head, which is something you don't see every day either.
Exactly.
But wouldn't there also be less kids at each lunch?
Yeah, there'll be less kids at each
so
lunch,
it's
so
easier
it
to
should
get
move
them
along
through.
more quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hope. I mean, this isn't an easy feat, and I think most people realize that. By the way, I think what really has me somewhat concerned, if I'm going to be honest with you, is just the amount of cases that have popped. They're coming back up. It seems like we were coming down.
We had St. Patrick's Day.
Right. Well, then I worry about April vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are going away.
Right.
And then when they come back.
And speaking of April vacation, I'm working on not that much, but a little bit of a change in programming on Channel 15. I'm going to run a few specials that we're going to record this week that we're just going to run during school vacation week at the end of April.
Oh.
Kathy Palmer is going to be in a couple of them. I'm going to have somebody teaching another water-based art painting class.
Nice.
May have something produced by the students here at the school. I'm waiting to hear on that. I don't know if that's going to be ready or not. But
love it.
Special programming just for a school vacation week.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Thank you. No,
Right.
we appreciate it. Absolutely. But as we need our kids back. We need to not have this increase in spread. I'll tell you, yesterday, 5 cases, all at different schools. So you have to do the contact tracing. You have to do all this stuff. 2 of our schools were closed yesterday because we didn't get the information until late Sunday night. And we didn't have time to do the contact tracing and deep cleaning. And this is only with just half the kids in.
Right.
So I don't know if it's just going to get worse when everyone comes back. I'm trying to be optimistic. I know our students, they need for the social emotional piece. They should be in school.
What happens if there's an outbreak?
So then we go remote.
And you're going to be allowed to do that through by DESI.
If it's a If it's a pandemic or coronavirus issue, you can go remote.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we had to do yesterday for 2 schools.
Right.
Fort Meadow and Abner.
Now, do they put that at a percentage or a certain number of students? Or?
They haven't. But for us, it's typically if we find out early enough, we can do the work, during the day. When you find out at 8:30 on a Sunday night, that's not going to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no one's fault. It's when you get the results. They come in. When they come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have cases popping up all over the place, and it seems to be getting worse right now. We were in a lull for a bit. We had a week where we just had 8 cases total, and yesterday we just had 5 in one day. So
you don't have you really don't have a single hour to yourself right now. You always have to be ready to go.
Yeah, Sunday night. We had to go one school. I'm like, okay, and then the next one. And then another situation, 3 incidents Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
But the third one didn't require closure. It was an isolated case.
And Sunday night is the best TV night now, too.
What's that?
You wouldn't know.
I have no idea what that is either.
I wouldn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it's just really, and it can happen anytime, at any place, and you just don't know when. I get a text message.
Mm-hmm.
And it happens, and then we start the ball rolling. And I want to I really thank the Westfield Board of Health too, because they're a great partner in this with us and kind of give us guidance as to what we're doing. We use our school nurses and we work with them to do the contact tracing typically. But it's an effort. And then when people find out that they may have been a close contact and they have to quarantine, then you got to deal with the fallout from that.
The fallout. Mm-hmm. Oh, that kid is dirty.
Well, no one likes
you
to
get
hear
into that.
Well, we can't say. We never give a name, and people have asked us. They're like, "Tell us who."
Who it is?
No. Anyone know why we can't do that?
Is there still a stigma about being
it's a HIPAA
dirty
law.
or unhealthy?
HIPAA law because the record was generated by a healthcare professional, meaning the health department.
It's a HIPAA law, right?
Yeah. But is there still a stigma now? Oh, geez, that this kid got COVID. He must be unhealthy, or he's not.
I would say less now than there was in the beginning.
So, no. Okay.
In the beginning, I think it was a little bit because it was unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I think now people just want this to be done, and that's another reason why I think we're seeing cases go up. I mean, I was at the store the other day, and a couple people without masks.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that frequently. I happened to go into a restaurant, well known. To pick up an order, you would have thought nothing was happening. They were sitting at tables. There were no masks. You can't sit at the bar, but they moved the tables up to the bar. So,
that was a compromise.
And it was mobbed.
Yeah,
it was mobbed. It was absolutely mobbed.
But we're seeing the numbers in Westfield go up.
People are tired of it
every week. Well, I'm tired of it.
Yeah, me too.
My God,
did you even get a chance to enjoy your pool last summer?
Not really. I was like, I've continued to get messages, and last summer was a lull in the cases, but the planning last year that we had to do to get this year going was a big task. Which is again, it's not this is what we're here for. But I would say, again, this has probably been the hardest year in my career educationally. Ever.
Ever. Yeah, I agree. Ever. For everyone involved, for the entire staff, because it's not just, it's teachers, it's custodians, it's bus drivers.
Everybody.
It's special ed departments, it's special services, it's the nursing, it's everyone, it's counselors.
Cafeteria workers, same thing, everybody.
Everybody's involved in this. Everybody has a risk.
Yep.
And everybody has a responsibility. So that's the problem, risk and responsibility.
Kathy mentioned busing. Does that change with...
Well, all of a sudden it became okay. I don't know how, but it just all of a sudden just became okay to fill the buses like normal.
Really?
Just because someone commissioner said so. So now we can put as many on the bus as we want.
What does the CDC think about that?
They haven't really. They did go from 6 to 3 feet at least. They didn't change that recommendation, but they haven't really chimed in on the busing. So.
Interesting.
Pam Katarski, who has now, this is probably ground zero, like times
that
3
poor
for her.
woman. God bless her. She's a saint.
She really
Pam,
is.
Pam, you are a saint.
She's talented too, by the way.
I
and
know.
she knows this city like nobody I know.
does.
It's like you need directions, ask Pam.
Right.
She'll tell you where everything is. But and I don't know how. So the kids all have to wear their masks on the bus. And
Well,
there's-
all along that's been a requirement.
yeah, but you can put two kids per seat again. So
That's a lot closer than 3 feet.
It is. And
Hey, Ken, you can blow through this break if you want.
And it just went like
yeah,
that.
I was planning on it.
Okay.
It just went like that from one day to the next. I don't know, a miracle. It's a miracle.
Well, you know what the thing is they've been saying this for a long, long time now, is that even though children 18 and younger can get the virus, the likelihood of them being serious infection is relatively low.
Right.
That's been a fact almost since day one.
How about the bus driver though, Pete?
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
And the parents, I
are
heard.
they on the list? Are they on the list to get vaccinated yet?
They were counted as
Should be.
educators. Yep, so they can get their vaccine. And I'm
All
getting
right,
my
so that
second
would also
shot, yeah.
prevent severe infection.
I'm getting
Not
my
infection, but severe.
second shot too.
I'm getting my second shot tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a week and a half or so to go for mine.
Now, piggybacking on that information on the news this morning, the CDC said that the highest group that's popping up is 10 to 19.
Yep.
That's the highest.
Good luck with that.
But and so this is what everyone's like, get the kids back, get the kids back. I've gotten some emails, been called a name or two in the process, and it's like kids don't get it. Kids don't get it. That may be true, but the 1,000 staff members that we have that work for us, and how do I put this in a way? Youth is not on our side in staffing.
They're old like me,
Yeah.
but not as old. It's okay. You can say it.
Yeah. Not
Which
very
is
many.
why
young,
I can't
not
go
very
back
many
into
young
school.
teachers.
I can't.
Well,
go
there are
back to
some.
schools.
Not very many.
But there are more
Seasoned.
They stay
seasoned.
forever. Yeah.
And so they can get it, and they can get sick.
Yeah.
And so even though, get them in school, well, if there's no teacher because they're out sick, then you get those complaints too. Well, why aren't you getting a substitute? It's like, we're still in a pandemic, folks. I've never seen people work as hard as they have this past year. And I say that about the teachers
It's
as
true.
well, because, it's a whole new way of teaching and learning for kids. But the teachers have had to, in some cases, double plan.
And you've also had teachers that had to learn because we're more. What did you say we were?
Seasoned.
Seasoned. They don't have the technological skills
Right.
that your 10-year-old has. So,
But I will tell you
it was
this.
a complete relearning.
I met with a seasoned teacher last week, and he said, "Wow, this Google stuff is great. I'm going to keep doing it." So we have some converts, if you will, to the technology side of because they don't realize. But again, you don't know what you don't know. And until you go in there and start toying around with things, it's like we're getting a new website for the district, which I'm really happy because ours might be the worst website in the in the history of websites. But so we're transitioning, hopefully May 1st, to a new website, right? And I sat through trainings, two 1-hour trainings on how to use the website, and I'm like, these trainings, I just have to go in and play around. That's how I learn. I don't know. I mean, you can.
That's how I am. I
You
get
can
it.
talk
That's how
at
I
me.
learned, too.
Yeah, you can talk at me, but until I'm in there screwing things up, then I don't.
Most of the stuff I know, it's because I'm self-taught.
Same here. I self-taught myself how to navigate the current website that we have, the horrible one. But this next one, Kathy, you'll be very pleased. It's very user-friendly. It's very visually.
Your website
loads
now
fast.
is you have to go here, then go here, then go there, then
It's
go
not
here,
intuitive.
then go here, then go here.
No.
You just have to keep looking.
You do, and this is going to be much more easy to find things, and so we're happy about that. But again, that's how I think a lot of our teachers navigate it. We did Google trainings. We offered a bunch of them, but I think in the end, they just went in and played around, and now they're getting used to it, and they're realizing it has a lot of benefits because our kids are such technology creatures, right?
Right.
Which is a good thing.
It is.
It's a good
So you see, you said a lot of things are unknown. We don't know what the schedule is looking like for the high school level yet.
We know they're coming back May 3rd, but we don't, and what that might, and again, the state hasn't put that out, but that was a date that we picked.
Okay, for full time.
Full time here and at Westfield High.
Okay, all right. Usually about a month or when we're getting pretty close to graduation time.
Yes.
What is that looking like today?
Today we are having graduation on Bullens Field.
Okay.
Today.
Could change this afternoon.
Well, because if and as I saw it, was it the CDC director said yesterday I don't know if it's a he or she.
It's a she.
She.
It's a
yeah.
she. Don't ask me her name.
They.
They. Thank you.
Use your pronouns.
Yeah. They. No, but didn't she say she was frightened or really scared
she's
about what's happening
expecting
right
a
now?
I saw that on TV
She's
yesterday.
expecting a new wave.
Yeah, fourth wave. Yeah.
So
And I think we're seeing that.
we are.
It's starting.
Does that mean that but as more and more people get vaccinated, is that going to be helpful? I mean,
No, they're
it
going to
seems-
lock it back down again. You
You think
watch.
so?
Yep, because it's power. They
It's
don't want to
too-
release the power.
Too easy for them to lock down.
Yeah, they don't want to release the power, and if they're so worried about potential lawsuits or whatever that we'll never get out of our own way.
So do you think that
This
schools
will never
are really
end.
going to open next Monday?
This will never end. This will never end.
Will they pull
City
back
Hall
on
has
that?
already. City Hall reopening's already been pushed back. I don't know if you saw the
I
announcement
did.
on the
has it?
website.
April 20th now?
Yeah.
Supposed
So
to be April
this will
1st.
never end. It will never end. I've got COVID fatigue is real for me. I'll still wear my mask outside.
Yeah.
But I refuse to stop living my life.
Well, and for graduation, I can sit them 3 feet apart with masks on the field, and we
Yes.
just have to limit how many guests would come. But Bullens is also really big, so I mean,
And we'll also broadcast it.
Yeah,
We'll
I
just
mean,
have to be there.
But I just feel like it should be normal. It should be traditionally on like it is on Bullens Field. That's what our goal is. And
it's been
but,
2 years since we've had that too.
right. But what's interesting is, the commissioner on our call last week said that the high school shouldn't have proms.
Mm-hmm. Is there a prom scheduled?
Well, the high school, I don't think here, but Westfield High has like 2 proms, like one right after the other. Like half the kids go from like 4 to I think 7, and then the next group 7 to 10 or something like that.
Well, that puts you at the wedding reception. You're allowed so many people
right
on the inside.
But he's saying not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's saying that, Desi or
Desi, the commissioner? And again, I think this the whole way this, and Pete, you've heard me vent on this, but
I know.
I mean, so they say all the kids are coming back, right? Without a vaccination date for teachers, which I thought was kind of backwards. You probably should have announced the date for vaccination for teachers and then said kids can come back. I don't know, just a little order
Just saying.
there. Because you upset a lot of people by saying they're coming back. And then the president says that vaccination is not a prerequisite to teachers returning, although I don't see why it wouldn't be, especially given our seasoned staff here in Westfield
Right.
and other places. It's not just here.
And just saying that they can get vaccinations now doesn't mean they're able to easily get one.
And then the first,
Yes.
as soon as I came out, people were online trying to get it. I mean, you had to get up and
12 o'clock.
Some people were doing it at
12
midnight,
o'clock
yeah.
for CPS.
midnight or 3 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, people were trying to get appointments. But it seems like everyone seems to be getting their second shot. Like in the next week or two, I've been hearing a lot of that. So there has been some access. But I was frustrated by that. One thing I will say is when this all started, our commissioner was very collaborative with us, with superintendents. And so we would have weekly calls and on Zoom. And every superintendent in the state's on there with him, and he would seek our feedback. Our feedback is no longer relevant. It has now become, this is what you're doing.
All right. Is the feedback almost at this point considered nuisance?
Well, it's disregarded.
Does it feel that way?
It's disregarded. One of the things that, and I don't know if it's political pressure from the top or what it is. I mean, there's a lot of factors that could be driving the change in outlook. I mean, I've been as collaborative as possible with all of this. I mean, there are times I have to make a call, but I always try to involve people before. You try to involve the people you're going to affect in the decision process, at least make them aware. Instead of what the commissioner did is he made the announcement with the governor on TV before even talking to us. So I was getting I was getting text messages. Did you know that schools are opening? I'm like, what are you talking about? And so then I would have to go, because I'm working during the day, so I typically don't have the TV on and not reading the news, okay?
Right.
So, that's how we heard. Was a press conference before he even told us. Now, in the beginning, when he was going to make an announcement, we'd get a heads up, even if it was 20 minutes before the announcement.
Right.
But at least we got a heads up. Now we get nothing.
Now you know how the general
Interesting.
population feels.
Yeah, I guess, yes. Yes, I know. But, because he was a former superintendent, we thought that he would be a little bit more understanding about that. And I don't know if that just happens when you get in those positions. I have no idea. Or you're put under so much political pressure that's
Sometimes
what you
you're
have
not
to do.
making the call, though. I think that's
Someone's
part of
making the
problem.
call for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Whiplash. It must be whiplash.
it is. It's a surprise.
Yeah.
Not always a good one.
And now you got to deal with it too. You got to figure out how to punt. And
Yep.
you've been doing very, very well. And I'll give the Westfield
Thank
School
you.
District credit. Is unlike some major cities, we've been in school almost since the beginning.
We have.
With very little disruption.
Our
overall.
disruption was around the holidays, and because there was a spike,
Right.
which was expected because of the holidays and people were
Right.
getting together. It's interesting.
But there's some major school districts that haven't been in all year.
They
and
haven't
some
been in
close
at all.
to us.
Very
Like Springfield never went.
Holyoke was there too, and I think they're starting to phase back in now. The commissioner also did allow for waivers, but they were temporary. And if you applied for a waiver to going back into in-person learning, they sent a team out to help you.
You know what? I have something to say about that.
Did you start the show off that way?
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
That is
That's so apropos.
That is so people are like, why didn't you apply for a waiver? I'm like, I would rather probably eat glass, okay, than have them come out here
and tell you
to help.
Yeah.
We don't need your help.
Yeah.
We got this.
We've been doing this since the beginning.
And it feels like, Pete, we are being penalized in a way because we've done it the right way, I think. And now
you have.
And now they have to. And now that everyone has to go back, it doesn't matter what we did. Doesn't matter.
I think the important thing here, though, and we've said it before, and you have said it before, we all want the kids in school.
We do.
It's people keep saying, well, you won't let them. We are not making the decisions. We're not driving the pandemic.
No.
It isn't the responsibility of the school to cure the nation. We would much rather be sitting in a classroom
With our kids.
with the kids.
And our kids.
Every teacher I know would rather do that.
Absolutely. And our kids want to be in school too, by the way.
I'm sure they do.
I actually
That's where
think-
their friends are.
Right. Well, I think, we asked a kid before the pandemic, oh, do you like school? No, I hate school. I think that might have changed a little bit.
Yeah, I'm tired of hanging around home with mom and dad and
or
or aunt or whoever.
Well, not even that. It's the everybody had the parents aren't going to work anymore. Most of them are working remote. The kids aren't going to school anymore, and there's something to be said about having time for yourself.
Yeah.
Whether that be in school, work, whatever.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
they're getting none of that. Nobody's getting none of that. And cabin fever, which was a real thing before, now has become COVID fever, and it's even worse.
Well, and people are grouchy, Pete. Have you noticed?
Yeah, because they're together too much.
They're a little angry.
Who says anything about people being grouchy?
They are.
Damn it.
And but to your point, Kathy, we want all the kids back, but we get calls and complaints all the time saying, well, you guys don't want the kids back. It's like, time out.
Where are they getting this?
It's just an assumption. And so I had one person tell me I was a complete failure as a superintendent because we didn't have the kids back full time, and that was back in September.
Because that's your fault. There's
Live
a
in
huge
Chicago.
pandemic.
Live in
It's your
Chicago or Boston
Yeah.
or
Our
New
kids
York.
have been in this building since September 14th.
Yes, they have.
We're sitting in a
Yeah.
building where kids have been here September 14th.
I witnessed that. Do you still have a 10 o'clock thing?
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay. I was about to.
I canceled it. I decided not to pay for additional pain today.
I was about to. I
had a dentist appointment.
I was about to start playing the music to get you on your way.
No, I decided, I get enough pain without having to pay for it.
Okay. All right. We've been going then for.
Take a break.
Just to figure out what exactly we want to talk about in the short amount of time we'll have left. Pete, let's do a short break.
Hold on one second. I was ready for a long one. Okay, now I'm ready.
Okay.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
Underwriting support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Greater Westfield Chamber of Commerce, the voice of business for the Greater Westfield communities. Informing, educating, advocating, the Chamber provides opportunities for members to make meaningful connections on local, regional, and state levels. For more information on the Chamber's many events, workshops, and programs, as well as the benefits of membership, visit westfieldbiz.org. The Chamber focuses on the most important economy, yours.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Listen to me, Michael Buster McMahon, Mondays 8 to 10 a.m. to learn the stories behind your favorite songs. Or don't. I'm not the boss of you.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Mr. Rama Lama Lama Kadinga da Dinga Dong, do you take Miss Shubop Shawada Wada Yippity Boom De Boom to be your wife? I do. And Miss Shubop Shawada Wada Yippity Boom De Boom, do you take Mr. Rama Lama Lama Kadinga da Dinga Dong to be your husband?
I do.
If anyone objects to this union, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Mr. Chang Chang Changity Chang Shabab.
You get that one, Kathy? So we were going to discuss during that brief break what we wanted to talk about, but instead we decided to crack a window open here.
It's hot in here.
We're getting the
whiff of food from Tiger's Pride.
The food prep from Tiger's Pride now, and it's just
smells good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
it smells really good.
Now that's really been affected because they couldn't run their restaurant.
But how great did they do with the curbside? And I just want to point that out. They're doing okay. Considering, but obviously their big moneymaker was the buffets, which I miss.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm dying for one of their buffets. But I have to tell you that takeaway St. Patrick's Day dinner they put together.
Was that good, the corned beef?
Each dinner,
yeah,
it was like 2 complete dinners. I mean,
for $10.
I couldn't get through it.
Wow. That's good.
That's good.
And
you had leftovers?
Leftover carrot, potato, cabbage, and corned beef for the next meal. It was good. I mean,
they've been doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, and I come here at least once a week. So
yeah, and we people who work in the building here, we are able to go down there. So I don't want to rub that in people's faces,
yes.
But that one, I work here for hours and hours and hours for nothing. So at least every now and then I get to walk down there and actually have lunch. I think that's good payment for me. But I see them, doing the takeout, the curbside, and follow Tiger's Pride Restaurant on Facebook. Once a week, they let you know what the specials are going to be.
Yeah.
Last week I missed it on Thursday with meatloaf.
Yes, it was.
Oh man, I love their meatloaf.
I came on Friday and got the fish.
Yeah, I haven't had their fish here yet.
It's fish and chips.
Yeah,
$7.
Yeah.
Where are you getting that?
Anywhere.
Yeah. We got Kathy hooked on Tiger's Pride before.
Listen,
I
when
used
I
to
worked
love
here,
to come here.
when I worked here, I was a little bit heavier. I'm going to be honest with you because it was tough.
So what do you explain this now on COVID?
Yeah, this is the COVID.
I'm sorry about
that's
that.
all right. No, it was worse before. When you work here, you have access to that all the time. And I have an incredible sweet tooth, so their bakery really...
Mm-hmm.
We used to have
and you being the boss, you just walk down there and pick something up and help yourself,
well,
right?
They would bring it to me.
Okay.
Oh, that's dangerous.
It became so bad that carrot cake became a vegetable.
Oh, well, but it is.
It is.
It's got carrots in it.
It has carrots in it.
It's a vegetable.
It's my veggie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for that.
So
and dairy too, eggs and milk.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
3 of the 5 food groups, right? Right.
So
there.
we're good, and it's colorful. You're supposed to eat for color.
Yeah.
And grains because you have flour in there.
That's your go. You're making this sound better and better. I want a piece of carrot cake.
I know. Now
Where
we're
are
gonna have
you?
to go get some.
And carrot cake's one of my favorites.
That's a good
But
one.
What this school's been able to do too, and it was in the paper yesterday or today, one of them it'll be in, but I saw it online. It's just they're talking about the house that they're building.
Loomis
too.
Street.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Lewis Street. I saw that.
That's awesome. So this school's been able to do every school's been able to do as much normalcy as they can, and that's been really good to see. It really has. I mean, I really feel confident in saying we've done the best that we can given the deck that we've been dealt, which is not a good deck.
There are.
Oh, go ahead.
There are some older decks in town. Earlier we mentioned Abner. They're an older deck.
Yeah.
There's a few other older decks in town. One of them is right down the road from here. Where are we with the design? Are we at design stage now for Franklin?
So we have 5 or 6 designs.
Oh, by the way, see what I did there, Kathy?
I knew it was coming though.
Okay.
We have
I
5 or
knew where you were
6.
going before you started.
So these building committee met last night, incidentally. And Pete was there, and we're voting on April 6th. Pete's always there.
I'm always there.
We are voting on April 6th to pick the design that the committee is looking forward to. So there are basically, you have some variations. One is a renovation rehabilitation, like kind of an addition, okay? And that is one of the choices. You have actually there's 2 of those that are pretty much that, but the students in Franklin will be able to stay while that's happening. But the best choice for me, there are 2 options of a 2-story building, and I realize that some people may not like that, and people are saying the elevator, but I like the 2-story building because the Franklin kids won't be disrupted at all. In other words, so those 2 properties are in the process of being purchased right on the front of Franklin Street.
Yeah, Mayor Humison has been proudly discussing that.
Well, he
every
should
time
be.
He comes on.
Should
here.
be. He went to the people's houses.
Yeah.
Okay, to talk to them.
Yeah, he
what else,
literally
what
went
else
to
do
their
you
house,
want?
yeah.
He literally went to their house, and I was just creeping around, probably chance of getting arrested. But I just wanted to see what the land was that we were looking at, because there's an L-shaped plot, and then there's another thing. So he actually went to the door. I wasn't that bold, but good for him because of that, I believe that's why we have.
And these are right on Franklin.
They are, and it actually makes now a nice size property. And one of the things that, when you're increasing the size of a school, if you've ever driven on Orange and Franklin, they're very narrow. So we want the entrance and exit on Route 20 on Franklin Street.
Right.
So because of that, that school can be built while the current Franklin Ave is not interrupted at all. That's what I like about the 2-story. There is interruption in every other model. There's a 3-story model that we all have pretty much rejected.
Yeah, that seems like too big for the neighborhood.
It does. Well, and the sight lines, Pete, wouldn't be great either. But I like the 2-story, and I haven't said this to anybody yet. So here you go. But because I think it leaves enough land to build some fields and stuff, and it really becomes a community school with the outdoor spaces, because we're designing the inside to be a community school as well. So what's interesting about this is you walk into a general space where you have access to the things that, we're talking about sometimes maybe even having a clinic for people in the neighborhood at night, or the police department might do a presentation on this, that, or the other thing. We want to use this school as a community area for the downtown.
Adult education here at times.
I wish. We do have some.
time.
We need more, right?
Yep.
The possibilities would be endless. But then the classroom spaces for the kids, they're all separated. So you don't ever get to the main area where the kids are.
Yeah, that was a big thing. They had a public corridor where the grades are kind of in their own sections, and they can be cordoned off very quickly.
Yeah, and
when I was at Juniper, every floor and every wing was 1 grade. First grade, kindergarten and first, and then, that's how they separated us over there. So I always thought, well, you have multiple levels just to keep the grades separated.
We've got multiple, so these are going to be organized in a neighborhood. So your 4 first grade classrooms, for example, will be in one neighborhood with another classroom. We do have the K and the pre-K, because there's going to be pre-K in this school.
And I'm getting the Fort Meadow in a second.
Okay.
You better do it quickly.
Yeah. So you have like little pods, if you would. Or?
Essentially, they call it a neighborhood.
Okay.
And there's breakout spaces, there's sensory spaces, there's so it's just like all the first grade can be together.
Mm-hmm.
In one neighborhood, but it's also a safety feature, and that's one of the things Kathy kind of alluded to before. So if someone gets into the building, just hit a button, and all the doors
Locks
close
you
and
down.
lock, so you can't get to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you.
And
look, it's as best as we've got. Right?
And that automatic and magnetic control on doors, it's technology that's been around forever, and it's not complicated.
It's not
I've actually installed these magnetic lock systems on early childhood buildings up in Northampton when I was working up there. If I can install these things, think of how a professional would do.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Well, and we went out to see a school in Hanover, Center Elementary School, that was a renovation addition.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful school. So what that could be what the MSBA decides happens there. But if we're going to go for a new school, I'd rather that. The renovation addition just has the building very long and spread out because it's a rectangular site.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So the building's going to go this way.
Yeah.
And last Friday, I met with police and fire and the designers too, and they gave us, some suggestions and their preferred schematics too. So it's going to be interesting. April 6th is the vote on what we want to move forward with. We're also going to have some pricing. So that's going to be a factor. And we have a 71% reimbursement rate, Kathy.
That's excellent.
The last school was 64 that
Excellent.
got shot down.
Do you have a projected date for this? I know that's tough.
It is 23, 24.
Oh, that's pretty fast.
Yeah, it's going to happen. We're moving right along in the process. And I'm pretty happy with it. And again, there's been so much participation, too, just in terms of when we had visioning. We had a lot of community. They told us what they wanted the school to look like and everything else. And a lot of input. And, of course, once we find out the pricing, and that'll probably determine the votes a little bit, too.
Now, you mentioned there's going to be a pre-K in this building.
Right.
Is Fort Meadow going to be able to hang on long enough for that to happen?
So there's only going to be 2 pre-K classrooms, maybe 3 in this building. And I'll be honest with you, the one thing about Fort Meadow is the age of the building. I mean, it's pre-World War I. Theodore Roosevelt was president at that time. And he's one of my favorite presidents, by the way, as a history guy.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Okay. But it's just at some point, when does it become not sustainable anymore? And the amount of repairs that have to be done, I mean, it's the same reason we're closing Abner, right? Because the goal would be to close Abner. So what's happened now is, and again, I brought it up as a discussion point, but someone besides me kind of pushed it in the direction of whether it was going to be a this year or when thing. And I wasn't necessarily proposing that. I was just saying, hey, look, we have this issue. We have this school that isn't getting any younger as every year passes. And as much as we try to Band-Aid this and Band-Aid that, it's a Band-Aid, and it's temporary. And there are models in a lot of districts who have their pre-K in their elementary schools, and they talk about why that works so well, because the pre-K teachers and the kindergarten teachers get common planning time, they get to work together, they get to talk about the student and meet their needs completely. Okay.
Right.
And so we're looking at other models. We're looking at other districts. Pittsfield and Holyoke just transferred from the separate school to having them in their elementary schools. I mean, it's something we're looking at for the future. I think it could also increase our capacity as to how many kids we have in pre-K. There's a lot of research in pre-K now that tells you if you go to pre-K, it predicts your outcome in terms of whether or not, how often you get suspended, whether you graduate, what your coursework is like. And I know it's a little controversial depending on, because obviously the staff in Fort Meadow are terrific and they want to stay together, and I get that. But at the same time, MSBA does not reimburse preschool buildings. So if we could not apply to MSBA for funding to help fund a new preschool, we wouldn't get anything. So a new preschool would fall solely on the taxpayers of Westfield. And every one of our elementary schools, because we pulled the 5th grades out and made the intermediate and middle a few years ago,
Right.
has open classroom space that they can use, at least 2 classrooms.
All right, I got you.
To fit in there. So what do we do? And that's the question. And that's what I brought up. That's our issue. It's, in other words, we have newer facilities that you could go into right now with bathrooms in the classroom set up to go. And they're little tiny toilets too. It boggles my mind, by the way. But that's where we are. And so the school committee is revisiting that again on April 5th. And how it turns out, again, it's nothing against anything that Fort Meadow has done or stood for or anything else. I think the building has far outlived its intent. I'm quite certain of that.
All right. I hear you on that. All right, I'm not going to go 10 minutes over like you and Chris did last week. So I've got about another minute or so if you want to get anything out.
No, just asking parents, please be patient with us as we make this transition. Again, it's not easy. We're doing the best we can. We're not purposely trying to eliminate anybody. We want to incorporate everybody. There are our buildings are as big as they are. That's all we have. And even to try to make outdoor space, we got tents and tables coming. But even, and we had to get permits. I'm still boggled by that. And it's not like we can stick everybody outside for outside learning either. Every day is not going to be like today is going to be in the 60s and warm. Every day is not going to be like that.
Right.
But I thank everybody there's also a lot of positives, by the way. I want to say that too. A lot of parents and families have been very happy with what we've done and been able to do this year, in particular in comparison. It's always interesting to hear from a parent who works in another district and how things are going there.
All right. Superintendent Stefan Zaporowski, I want to thank you for coming in and bringing us up to date.
Thank you.
Next week in his house, Mayor Don Humison, and then 2 weeks from there, I did write down Chef John Slattery, but that was going to be for last month. I have Hope Tremblay coming in on the second Tuesday. So here I go. I self-corrected myself.
Nice.
That's all I have time for. I'll catch you next time.